Generals, gentlemen.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Command & Conquer Red Alert 3. We are the Generals, Gentlemen.
I'm Mark on Hawk.
And I am the Machine.
And I'm a little bit scared because this is my second venture into the world outside of Zero Hour. Who knew there were more CNC games? Definitely not me.
Yeah, that's right. There's more than just Zero Hour.
What?
There's quite a few
I'm shocked.
fact. So this is going to be Blake's first game of Red Alert 3. So again, I'll be doing a bit more explanations than you would normally see from a Red Alert 3 shoutcast. Our heroes for today is going to be GBH as our Soviet.
And Lolmaker playing as our Empire. Did I get that right?
Yeah, Empire of the Rising Sun. This is their barracks. They build buildings.
Are they called prison cores or something? Or what are they called?
Cores.
No,
yeah.
dojo cores.
Dojo's the barracks.
Oh,
so
dojo's
cores
the barracks,
the unit.
so like a core is the
unit.
unit.
So
okay.
they build the core, and then the core like sets up somewhere, and you can use the core to crush. So you send out cores to like crush the bears.
Nice.
It's kind of crazy, because the bears are very strong against the Imperial Warriors. Popping the Banzai charge will make the bear juke away. It will go in the water. The Imperial Warrior can't follow it. And the bear up here is actually camping the barracks. So it won't be able to spawn units. Otherwise, it just gets insta-camped.
Sweet. So you need some more peacemakers to kind of come out and force the bears off the barracks.
Well, peacekeepers are allies.
These
are Imperial Warriors.
Imperial Warriors.
Yep.
Okay, yeah.
For the Emperor.
For the Emperor.
Yeah, so a lot of Imperial Warriors. And when there's that many, they can just gun down bears. Going in for it now. Can we land a nice stun? Gets a 1-for-1 here, but the Imperial Warriors are actually cheaper. So trading 1-for-1 isn't effective for the Soviet. He wants to find a nice stun. But look at this reaction.
This
really nice
reaction's really
juking.
nice.
Here he goes. Might be a nice stun around the corner. No, he loses these bears. He wants to get a stun here, and he's going to have to attack move this, but this is not trading effectively. Again, bears are worth more. But meanwhile, he is delaying the old Derek, and if he times out the Banzai charge, then he can just go in and just stun them. So let's see if he can get the stun now. He's trying to juke around this one. Gets the nice stun, but there's not enough follow-up here. We'll lose all of these bears. Finally gets the oil down here, but is throwing away a lot of money now. Meanwhile, we do have a bit of the flak troopers. They're anti-air infantry, and you're going to want to have those to prevent the Mecha Tengus from harassing.
Cool. So very nice. So nice play here from the Lolmaker. And why is Sai running up and down? I don't understand what's going on here. That was an engineer.
And he has like
engineer?
rocket boots.
Yeah.
He gets like a speed boost.
Nice.
But if it runs out, then he sort of starts panting. So you want to make sure you don't mistime it. But the burst drone is like a scouting unit. It can also attach to vehicles and slow them down. That's also what the flak troopers are there for, is to prevent the burst drone from slowing down the harvesters, because that will then obviously slow your income.
Right, yeah.
As well as the Tengus. Mainly, of course, the burst drones. So the Tengus, they're like anti-infantry vehicles, but they can actually transform into air-to-air jets.
Yeah.
So often what you would like that, the burst drone actually detonates itself on the vehicle, damaging in the process. So you can use that to be quite sneaky. So what you often do, the Mecha Tengus, they fly around in the jet form, and then they land down on the harvesters and start harassing them. So they're very mobile defense. That's actually a transport with an engineer, but the Terror Drone will stun it, and it can't evacuate either when it's being stunned. He's going to try and get within the range, but the Mecha Tengu is showing up. Oh, he's juggling both of them. He's stunning both of them. That's nice.
That's really nice.
He's trying to buy time, though, for the hammer tank. Yeah, I think that's going to be an engineer.
That's really beautiful micro. I'm starting to really like Red Alert 3 already. It didn't take long.
Oh, it was empty,
it just takes it out.
It was empty. Yeah, the Terror Drones are a very micro-intensive unit. That's a pretty big blob here on the side. Having a lot of infantry moving forward. Tank Hunters are pretty strong anti-building, and even Imperial Warriors are good against buildings as well. Hammer Tanks can crush very effectively, and they will get their health back when they crush infantry. Sickle will knock them back with a flea jump. Hammer Tank now wants to get the crush. The tank busters can actually duck, to avoid the crushes. Yeah, so we'll see. Just too many of them. He may even lose the MCV here, having to pack up and run away for his life, getting more and more infantry and the bears for the stun. You really want to have those bears to stun in combination with the hammer tank crush, and ideally, if you can, the sickle, like the flea jump. It jumps on them, knocks them aside.
Yeah.
The problem for Soviets is you need to get a crusher crane so you can repair your vehicles, which doesn't have one.
Doesn't have yet.
Yeah, normally the Empire and Allies just repair from their production facilities.
So very aggressive game being played here by Lolmaker. Super aggressive infantry movement here. It's just going to be Blob versus Blob moving up different sides of the map here.
Yeah, and we do see this third refiner actually not being taken. He wants to go for the water, and a really good move. because there's that huge infantry army, and infantry can't traverse onto the water. So by going for the water expansion, it gives it a bit of extra safety. Mecha Tengu are going to be harassing down the harvesters, but the hammer tank will ward it off. And
and gets one down. Can the bullfrogs harass the Tengus when they're on the ground? Or
no, bullfrogs are
anti-air.
anti-air.
Just strictly
These things,
anti-air.
yeah,
So,
but they're very effective against Tengus in the air. And so he's actually saving the oil derrick. He wants to recapture it with his own engineer. So you'll see him pop the rocket boots when he gets a bit closer, because you do it too early again. You time out.
Cool. Just pops it.
Maybe he's forgetting. Maybe he's actually not watching. He should do it by now. Yeah, he probably just wasn't paying attention. That's all right. So actually, going back down, so I think he does want the land expansion. And the one downside of the water expansion is then you can't use hammer tanks to attack the Tengus on the ground, because they're not amphibious. So it would protect him against infantry, but it means he would have to invest in either the sentry guns or maybe some navy of his own to keep those harvesters alive. Got to be careful though. Still, a lot of these tank busters, they're very, very cost effective against those hammers, and the bullfrogs especially.
So Diamond coming up here. Bears are moving in for support now, so they're looking for those roars.
The bears just scale so well.
Yeah,
because of
I can imagine.
The roars just offer so much utility. And he can put the engineer in the bullfrog and then parachute it over the wall. But whilst it's falling, it's vulnerable to being attacked. Hammer tank's trying to destroy down the oil derrick, and it will do so. When the oil derrick is destroyed, it actually explodes. So you want to sort of leech beam it further away so you don't get caught in the explosion. Well, maybe not. Doesn't really matter that much unless they're close. But generally you try and do it though, just to be safe. Like, yes, if you use like Imperial Warriors, it can damage them or knock them back at least. Third refinery coming out now, and actually no third refinery here for our Empire.
Only having the two. More Tengus moving in the side here, looking for some more harassment.
Yeah, that's the thing that he can do, is he can just keep forcing the hammer tanks to defend. One flak troop not going to be enough, but he has the magnetic mines. Oh, he lands it as well. That's nice. They're like melee range, very powerful. There also means that if they get crushed, they detonate on the tank. Tsunami tanks are being mixed in. They're not quite as powerful as hammer tank, but they will give a lot of damage soak for those infantry. And even if he isn't killing the harvesters, he's buying time. That's a mode on the harvester. It gives them... Whoops, there goes your tank busters. It gives them a shield, making them very, very strong, but they can't mine and they move a lot slower. Nice cut off of the retreat here. Loses both of those Mecha Tengus. They're quite weak in the air.
This train's going to be coming out here from hammers, and... Whoa. That was intense.
Yeah, Toxin is... It's one of the call-ins that the Soviets can get. And so it spreads onto nearby vehicles if it hits. It actually moved the MCV in. Now what the MCV will do is it means that it can crush both infantry and vehicles. So what's a common tactic is if you use the Terror Drone to stun a vehicle, the MCV can crush it, and you can't avoid being crushed because the Terror Drone will prevent any sort of movement. Also Tesla Troopers, you haven't seen them yet. There's what Tesla Trooper there. It's secondary mode. It like puts an EMP around it in a radius, and any vehicle in that radius can't move and it can't attack. So if you're able to get a Tesla Trooper in close and EMP it, it's deadly for the MCV. A lot of tsunami tanks. So we see our Empire here, Lolmaker, he's playing the pretty short-term game. He wants to just muscle his way through and punish this third without expanding his own. We do see Terror Drones moving through. He can use that to either delay reinforcements or zap the harvester. He can't really infect anything because he's so close to the war factory. We'll actually keep that alive. At the top here, bit of engagement. The hammer tank's been caught out of position. Too many tank busters and far too many of the tsunamis, losing a big chunk of the army. In a bit of trouble here. Our Soviets running out of his base. He's going to lose that third refinery.
Lose it pretty easily as well. Hammer tanks now switching to those leech beams, trying to fire from range, or at least cut out the tsunami tanks. Bears moving in.
Yeah.
Soak up some damage.
If he just keeps poking at range with leech beams, he should be fine. Also, the bears will zone away all of those tank busters, but this is so many tsunamis, and they can crush the bears. Gets in the foxholes to keep them away from those, but the Tesla Troopers very effective, and there's no real anti-infantry apart from a couple of Imperial Warriors. MCV being called in as well here. Tank busters going to be vulnerable to the Terror Drones as well as the tsunami tanks. Imperial Warriors managed to burst them down, but we do see the MCV crushing through the tsunami tanks with the Terror Drone to stun them.
They're doing an excellent job there. Hammer Tank still firing from range here. A lot of
Nice.
tsunamis going to be caught out here. The MCV going to keep moving in though. There's a lot of tank buses to try and deal with. The Bears going to be moving in.
Oh,
That's an
nice
awesome
stun! Bear in mind, the MCV will get health back when it crushes. It's one of the support powers. It's called Grinder Treads. Any tank that can crush, it gets health back. So, nice defense. Really good micro, combining the Hammer Tank Leech Beams, combining the Terror Drone stun.
Did lose that third, and also there's some more Mecha Tengus moving in for harassment.
Yeah, we'll finally lose this Harvester here. I'm surprised you didn't get a Sentry gun. They're pretty cheap. They only cost, I think, 800. The thing is as well, though, is you can also mix in the Chopper VXs. They're, like, air to ground. So if you invest in ground-to-ground defense for the Tengus, then they can just use the Striker VXs, the Chopper VXs. So you got to sort of have a balanced mix of anti-ground and anti-air.
Right.
And then you can really utilize the transform to adjust your composition, because then the Chopper VXs can transform onto the ground to be a ground-to-air.
That's kind of cool.
Yeah, the Tengus and the Chopper VXs, they're very versatile depending on what mode they're in. If you need anti-air, you can have Jet Tengus and Chopper VXs. So you have ground to air, air to air. So you just have a bulk anti-air.
Yeah.
Or you can have Jet Tengus on the ground, choppers in the air, and just have mass grounded.
Ground
so
attack, yeah.
it's really interesting. I mean, that's one of the strong mechanics of Empire, is how versatile they are. And constantly harassing. This is really good play here. Really slowing down the income, especially now there's only the 2 refineries. There's the Chopper VXs now. And they're pretty effective against buildings as well as vehicles. Not good against infantry though. So the flak troopers are good counter to those.
Nice, nice. I think he's still going for as much harassment as possible. Some bullfrogs in the area for some defense. So those tsunami tanks also can move on the water. Obviously,
Yeah, they
going to
can.
be hiding in the background there.
So he can go onto the ground, snipe some power plants, or go for those harvesters.
So he's kind of keeping them there and waiting for like an overextension from the army before he moves the tsunamis in.
Well, yeah, I think that's what I was going to see. The Chopper VXs may bait them out here. That being said, though, the vision is pretty strong in CNC. Yeah, so
Pretty
GBH,
good idea.
you can't see it, though. So he's actually pretty far away. So GBH Michael, I think if he can hold this out, he should be fine, because he has the 3 refineries. But the harassment with these VXs now is going to be a big pain. He's going to need a lot of anti-air, because the super reactor, if it gets focused, when it blows up, it takes out a pretty big chunk of the base.
Not really.
And the VXs can just destroy them quite hard. So going in with the Mecha Tengus now to bait away the units, while the Striker VXs, they're going to, the Chopper VXs rather, their name changes depending on what form they're in. We'll actually go for the War Factory rather than the Super Reactor. He's going to take this one out here. War Factory is being rebuilt. 1 Bullfrog, 2 Bullfrogs are moving in. But he will just able to burst this one down by the looks of it here. It will blow up though, and it will be pretty powerful, but can he actually hold it? Selling it off, and there goes the Super Reactor, taking down all of those Chopper VXs. Terror Drone inside of the Tsunami tank.
He's stopping that one from at least harassing those harvesters who are getting taken out there.
Yeah, I think that was the Terror Drone surprise. One of the unlocks is like there's a certain chance that any destroyed vehicle will have a Terror Drone surprise, and that was the Harvester. So not only did he destroy a War Factory, he also destroyed a Super Reactor. Super Reactor not only gives you power source with the tech, and so you can't build hammer tanks until you have that tech.
Right, so should he try and go for a counter push now, or
Well, I think he should at least get the oil.
try and get the oil out?
Yeah, you don't want to overextend when you don't have enough anti-air, because then you can get caught out of position like now. I don't know why. Oh yeah, the Bullfrogs are moving in. So it's a hard angle, because if he does push in too far, then his base can be ambushed by Tengus or by Chopper VXs. He's in an awkward spot. I think what I'd like to see GBH do is just get some static defenses, get a flak turret or like a sentry gun, so he doesn't have to worry about camping his units in his base. He can use them more freely, because base defenses are very cost effective for what they can actually do. And this is really great harassment here, constantly applying pressure with both the Chopper VXs and with the Tengus. Alternatively, he can go for an airfield and he can have his own mobile force, his own MiGs, his own twin blades, so then he can have a fast mobile response to the air units. Those are what I'd like to see, rather than relying on this immobile ground army.
More, I think there's tsunami tanks moving around the flank as well.
Oh wow.
Coming in.
Yeah, really
4
good.
more of those.
I like the way that... keep forgetting his name.
Lolmaker.
Lolmaker is actually changing his composition. He's going from, he went Tengu infantry heavy, then he went chopper heavy, now he went tsunami heavy, and it really sort of messes up the composition, because again, if you just focus too much on a particular type, it can get punished. And the tsunami tanks are going to be able to burst that harvester down. Gets the crusher crane. That will give not only repairs, it will also give another production queue, so you can build 2 structures simultaneously. The chopper VXs are moving in, may snipe down the MCV. That can be quite punishing to lose. 3 bullfrogs though will be able to force them away. Nice response, but at the same time, he's going to lose this war factory here. There is a terror drone. It will eventually take the tsunamis out, but it will take quite a while for it to actually be effective. They're cost effective, they cost 600, tsunamis are 1,000, but they don't particularly kill very quickly.
Pretty slow process, and some more chopper VX is going to be moving in as well. Just constant all-out aggression on all sides here.
Yeah, and you've got to say,
Lolmaker.
considering he's on 2 refineries against 3, and he's actually amassing a pretty large army, if he keeps his harassment up, he's harassing so effectively. Not only is he sniping units, he's also sniping buildings. So he's making up for this refinery difference entirely.
Working out definitely well for him, just spamming out even more and more of these tsunami tanks here.
Yeah, I think what's going to be a problem though is if there's a huge tsunami push, this Tesla troopers are incredibly cost effective. They can't be crushed, and they have a very strong anti-vehicle damage.
How big a deal is that veterancy?
It's pretty strong, yeah. I mean, it's on a Tesla trooper, so it won't make him godlike. Veterancy is pretty strong. If you have like a fully heroic, say, Apocalypse tank or something like that, it does make them very strong. If it's only cheap infantry, it's not a huge deal. It's pretty similar to 0 Hour. Not that much different.
Pretty late sniping saw. It's going to go down though.
Yeah. And so what we actually saw, which I didn't actually realize until now, it probably happened a long time ago, there was the MCV cell
Oh, okay.
for Lolmaker, so he
Lolmaker.
couldn't actually build anything. MCV getting right low here. Bullfrog getting caught out of position, loses a lot of them. Very important to keep them alive against that many choppers. A lot of hammer tanks though, and a terror drone, so it will be able to snipe down the tsunami tank. He's going to get more guns as well from the leech beam. Still really should take out this all
There's another push in the base as
Oh,
well.
there
Of
sure
course,
is.
Of course, the double push.
Yeah, it takes out the crusher crane. It's nice to have that, because if you lose the MCV, you still have the production. Pretty effective engagement here though, and it will draw his army away from his 3rd expansion. Well, refinery has been rebuilt. A lot of hammer tanks though.
Focusing on the bullfrogs as well, which gives the chopper VXs a little bit more room to
Yeah,
move.
he's going to need to build some more bullfrogs, or at least more flak troopers.
Lost about 2 or 3 so far, just in the last minute.
Yeah, and they had some veterancy too. So Mechatenga's going in. You make
Harvester harassment.
Wow.
This is just non-stop from Lolmaker. I really love this play.
There we go, Tesla coil. Those are incredibly strong, and that'll protect not only the Mechatengus but also the tsunami tanks. They have long range and they do attack over buildings like that. It'll one-shot the Tengu, but it has no anti-air, so Chopper VXs will snipe it very quickly. It needs to mix in either a flak cannon or just a bullfrog. And meanwhile,
Ooh,
the
another
tsunami
push.
tanks.
Tsunami tanks have been pushing it as well. The MCB's got out of position. There's only bullfrogs in the area. More hammer tanks going to be moving in now. Terror drone going to help out as well, so those will at least go down. You get a leech beam there.
And there isn't really much mining going on. Those 2 harvesters aren't actually mining. They're constantly in their shell mode. So
which is a toggleable, but a timed toggleable, I suppose.
you can deactivate it
Yeah.
at pretty much any time, but it just means that, yeah, he's just not mining
Oh,
as
he's
much
going
as
to
he
get
should.
sniped as well.
Oh, he will be, yeah. So that's really effective. And meanwhile, these harvesters have been non-stop mining.
Yeah, there's just been no aggression into Lawmaker's base. I mean, we haven't had a chance from was it MT
GBH.
GBH? It is.
Well, he's actually rebuilding his
And
MCV.
again.
It's 5,000, it's pretty expensive. Again, for comparison, Tsunami is about 1,000. So I think he wants to rebuild the MCV and then get more refineries. If he didn't sell the MCV, he would have been able to expand, but he couldn't. But it did give him a lot of cash. It gives you 2,500, which is it's a very short-term gain, but yeah, it can backfire. Not like 0 Hour, where you don't need your command center to build stuff because your dozers do that. In Red Alert 3, if you sell your command center, you can't build stuff. It's a big deal. And look at this flank. It's just really, really great timing. Going for the counter push here. This is a risky move. A really, really risky move.
Because he could lose a lot, right?
But yeah, I think he's desperate. He does realize that he's on the back foot. He can't really keep playing like this because he's just losing all of his army, and the army is only growing for Lolmaker. So I think this is a desperate gamble, but he kind of doesn't really have a choice at this stage.
The Terror Drones might actually help him out there. They're taking out the student armies
Yeah,
one by
and
one.
the MCV can crush the hammer tanks, but the Terror Drone will stun it, so it can't move while it's stunned. So having that Terror Drone very, very
So
important.
not a good time at all to get the MCV up, is it? I mean, when it's right in the middle of
No,
the
that was
hammer
really
tanks.
unfortunate timing, actually.
Yeah.
He probably should have cancelled it because he did see those units coming. And he will lose the game if he loses his structures, but the MCV counts. So he can set up this MCV in his base and then maybe even build his own refinery in the original base of Lolmaker. Doesn't have a lot of money though, so he can't actually do that. But he won't lose the game.
What does Lolmaker have in that back corner? Like right in the top right-hand corner? What is that?
Oh, it's a power plant.
Power plant, okay.
And there's nothing amphibious.
Yeah,
there's
there's no way to deal with that.
But yeah, he can't kill it. He's gonna have to.
He doesn't know about the
He
power
doesn't have
plant.
any money, does he?
So it's really smart from Lolmaker there building that.
Okay,
back.
you know what he can do? He can get an engineer into an all derrick.
Okay.
But that's it. And the VXs can destroy that.
So now it's MCV versus power plant. This is really intense.
Lolmaker, GBH. Well.
This is a bit crazy.
Oh no, he can cap the power plant with an engineer.
Alright, so the engineers can walk on water, can they?
Yeah,
Or
they
go on
can.
the
Well, they
bullfrog?
swim.
Okay,
Yeah. I think you can also
How can you get one though? Like, does he need
from a
anything,
barracks.
or-
He can afford it. And but both the Tengus and the VXs can take out the engineers.
Right.
And he has no anti-Tengu. Like, on the ground, the bullfrogs can't contribute. Oh, Terror Drones, though. Terror Drones can swim, and they can stun the Tengus. They can actually eat them as well,
Okay.
but the Terror Drones will destroy the Tengu before it gets close. But the stun will outrange the Tengu. So, well, what he needs to do, and he has two Terror Drones.
Really intense.
But then the VXs can kill the Terror Drones, so he needs to have the bullfrogs nearby. This is going to be a battle of unit preservation. Oh, man.
This is freaking intense. Love this game. So now I have to play games of Kane's Wrath and
Yeah.
Red Alert 3. I'm gonna have this is so time consuming.
Here's three
Why
Terror
do you
Drones.
keep introducing me to awesome games? Please.
And tsunami tanks are there as well. So if he can snipe the anything, just snipe the bullfrogs. Terror Drones, basically, that they have very strong armor against explosives, like anti-tank weapons.
Oh, there's something going on at the top.
No, he's just...
What was that?
Oh, that's support power. Ah, boring.
Will it take it out?
I don't know. Depends what level it is. I think it will.
But nothing's hitting.
It does. It's a timer.
Okay.
I think that's a... Oh, that's... That'll take it out.
Oh, why is there a massive satellite crashing into the ground?
Oh, that
Cool,
sucked.
that was kind of boring.
I wanted to see like a really epic like Terror
Disappointed.
Drone Mecha Tengu snipe.
fight. That was kind of fun though. That was enjoyable. That was an enjoyable game.
That was.
It was a
Yeah.
good counter push in the end there.